getting a future tattoo?
Yeah.
Okay, a tattoo in the future.
I got you, Bubs.
Okay. Okay.
$7,000.
I have someone for you. I'm just saying. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ask Yesenia some questions just about her life to get to know like her story. So who is Yesenia? Like when it's the pressures of the world or not, you're not feeling those pressures of the world, you're sitting by yourself and you're like, who am I? Who is Yesenia?
You know, I thought about this and I'm like, I'm a softie. I'm a softie amongst hard asses. Like, I'm a female in a male dominated industry, and that has forced me to become this, like, like I'm a boss, but at the end of the day, I'm a little softie. I'm a mom, which also has put a fire under me. I am an artist and I think an advocate for brown folk. That's what I try to be, at least.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what does the word Chicana mean to you? When you say that you identify as a Chicana, like, what does that entail?
To me, it's a subculture to the fact that I am Mexican and I'm American, right? But I've never felt Mexican American, if that makes sense. You feel like growing up, I grew up with 3 different types of women. There was my grandma, who was very, very Mexican. She took us to Mexico every year. And then I had my mom, who was Mexican American, who worked hard and just like almost didn't have the time for identity because she's just like, I'm busting ass right now. And then I had Kat, who I have up here with me. And she was the chola. She was like this person that I seen in myself, but like, I was like, oh, I'm not hard enough for that. Like, you're cool, but I wasn't that, And I think that being Chicana is hitting all those things, right? Like, I was all these things while being myself and allowing myself to like really be the nerd, the little art kid. Just, it is, deeply rooted indigenous pride while also recognizing we are American. And we have that influence as well.
Absolutely. I remember a conversation that we had years ago, and you were like, I just don't fit. Yeah. I don't fit. I don't fit anywhere, like that there's similarities here and there's similarities here. But I remember you talking really of what I like to call walking in the in-betweenness, right? Walking the corridors of multiple cultures simultaneously. And I remember you like, I have that same story with so many individual Chicanas and Chicanos, but yet they don't have it together, right? So there's an isolation that oftentimes people experience of like, I don't fit in, I'm not Mexican enough, or I'm not American enough, I don't identify with Mexican American. And that's why one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you here, because many of the students have talked about not feeling like they belong, not Mexican enough, not American enough, not knowing who they are. And on the journey of becoming an awareness who they are and their identity. So we're from the Central Valley, or we live in the Central Valley. How did growing up in the Central Valley shape your story?
You know what? Like, not until I moved out of the Central Valley did I realize that we are blessed. And my grandma says it all the time, somos bendecidos aquí en el centro. Like, we are so blessed. We don't have all these like, natural disasters, like a lot of different places, but at the same time, we are so incredibly brown. Like, I see everybody in here and I'm like, oh, we're mixed, but we're all brown, and that's not something that you can get everywhere. I moved to Colorado, and
oh yeah, I forgot about Colorado.
And that was just such a culture shock for me, and I recognized like I am a minority, and I didn't even feel that way. Like, I knew I was a minority, right? You're told your whole life you're a minority. But as soon as I moved to Colorado, that's when I realized, like, oh, I'm a minority out here.
That's
like,
what they mean.
That's what they mean, because being in the Central Valley, like, we just have culture.
Yes.
We have being Mexican. The people that go to Mexico every year that speak Spanish and know it fluently. We have that. We have Mexican Americans that have never spoke Spanish a day in their life because their parents had to assimilate. And then we have, just all the farm culture, all of this. So to me, it was just like, I just recognized how blessed I was to be home and how proud I am to be back home, because I'm like, man, this is my place. This is where I'm from. You know, like a large part of my identity is being from the Valley.
Absolutely. You know, I think that's important, like what you mentioned, same thing with me. It took me to move away to realize what I had. And I was like, oh, I went to Humboldt County. And that was, you know, I think, did I talk about that story already? I don't know if I did. I think it was my intro class. I talked about it. It was eye-opening in multiple ways. But thank you for that. So today I know you as a beautiful woman who knows who you are and is exploring your gifts, standing in your gifts and exploring your gifts. But just like everyone else, you didn't always know who you were. So I'm curious to know, how has your cultural identity evolved over time? So like for folks that are trying to find their identity, like how has your identity changed over time?
Oh yeah, it's been through so many different shifts, and you know, we were actually talking about it yesterday at the shop. We have shop talk. We're always at the shop, just kind of like getting into the nitty gritty of things. We talk about parenthood. Do you regret this? You know, like we have talk.
Invite me.
I know, huh? Come to the shop. Let's talk about it. But a part of that conversation recently was the fact that like we know how to code switch.
Oh, yep.
You know, and I've been code switching since I was a child. I was raised in my mom's house, and as soon as I left my mom's house, I was my dad's roughneck. I was ready to jump off anything because he told me to. And then I was my grandma's baby, you know, and we just were all these different things. And so being in school, I was an artist, but I was also Mexican who couldn't speak Spanish. So it was just like, oh, I can't hang out with the Mexicans. And then I was the Mexican who was Mexican American. We loved lowrider culture, right? Like my dad was always putting us in on lowrider culture, and I knew all the oldies by word for word. I knew them by heart. But the moment I hung out with the little cholillos, I was like, oh no, my mama raised me right. Wait a minute, you know, like I can't do this. I'm like, you guys want to roll the streets, and I just can't do that. Like I was raised different, so just recognizing, like going through all these waves, and just trying to figure out like where do I fit in. And it wasn't until I actually went to your class to speak, and like I said, I had my mom, who was an incredible woman who busted her ass to make sure that like we had everything we needed. But I also didn't feel like we connected culturally. And then I had my grandma, who I also didn't feel like I connected culturally with, because it's like, I can't understand you half the time, lady. And I've learned over the years, but like I couldn't understand.
These subtitles.
Yeah, yeah, we struggled. And then I had Kat, who was like, OG. She was, and she was always rolling with the boys. And I resonated with her a lot, because I was like, well, I roll with the boys, you know, like I'm a tattoo artist. I'm with the guys all the time. Like I'm gonna try to be like Kat. And I was like, okay, you know, like maybe I'm too soft for Kat. I don't know. But she had taught me a lot too. And then I went to your class, and we spoke at your class, and I recognized something in you where you're like so proud to be Mexican, and so proud of lowrider culture. You were so proud of tattoos, and at that point, I seen myself in somebody, and I was like, oh shit, wait a minute. Like I seen Chicana tattooed on your arm. And I was like, that's what I am. Like it was just such an eye-opening experience for me. And then ever since, I've moved into like being very Chicana, almost wearing wanengos every day, and like just so proud of being brown. And then now, oy. I love that one. But moving into like who I am as an artist and who I am as a nerd. Like my man and I, we play Pokemon Go, and that's part of my experience.
Man's right here.
Yeah, man's right here. But like we are all these things, you know. It's not just, Chicana isn't just like being brown and proud and activist all the goddamn time. It's being yourself in all these different ways, but also recognizing that like I am rooted in my indigenous culture.
Absolutely. How beautiful. Like I love that you say that we're all of it, right? Because like society will try to put us in a box and say, well, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. I thought you were this, and it's like, no, I'm all of it, you know, and more, right? And more. So I love that. Well, you're a danzante. They know that you're a danzante. So what role does being a danzante play in your life?
It's something that I'm fairly new with. I've only been dancing for about 3 years, but I think that it's rooted in Chicano culture. And so to me, it was something my dad had been doing for years. And I was like, oh, I want to get into, I want to learn, you know, so that I had this moment where I was like, I don't know if I believe in Christianity or Catholicism. Like, I love my Virgencita, but I'm like, I don't fit in these spaces, you know? And so I was like constantly wondering, like, how do I pray? Who do I pray to? And I always say, like, the Creator. And that was the first time when I went there, I realized, like, oh shit, wait a minute, like, they pray to a Creator, you know? And it's just, it has been something to ground me and help me on a weekly basis. We go to danza and we're grounded, you know? And I get to teach my son about culture and identity every week, or every day, but every week through danza. And so as I'm learning, he's learning.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. What I love what you're saying, it does what you do, is that you're teaching your son something that you learned late in life, right? And that's something that I like to do. Like, I learned all this stuff late in life as well, and like to teach the younger generation earlier than when I learned it. So wonderful. So how do you balance heritage with modern day challenges, like colonial systems or political news? How do you balance that?
I think I need you to elaborate on that a little bit.
So in terms of balancing your heritage and being culturally proud and having that and living in that body of being culturally proud, when you go into spaces that are more modern spaces or spaces that are not as proud or that are assimilated spaces, how do you balance that? How do you show up? What are those things that cross your mind? Or do you just, what's your experience with that?
Oh no, like, I'm very aware. I think especially after moving to Colorado, I was very aware that I am a brown woman in this space. In California, not that I never felt like that, but I just had a way of code switching. And in Colorado, it just left me to not be able to code switch, because no matter what, you are a brown woman in the space. And so I try to go into spaces with confidence. Yeah. You know, I try to go in a little colorful, make sure that they know, like, I'm brown and I'm here and I'm going to represent whatever I'm doing. But yeah.
I think that's so important that you do that, because not everyone is not everyone's proud yet. And so when people see symbols, they become like bat signals. They become like cues of belonging, of like, wait a minute, there's something about her. Oh, like her earrings, right? Oh, her blouse. It connects people without saying a word, right? That's one of the reasons why I got the Chicana tattoo. It was like the bat signal for Chicanas, you know? Yeah. I didn't have to say anything, just walk into a room, and then people will literally gravitate towards me, and just because I have the tattoo and want to talk. And we're symbols, we're walking symbols, you know, and I love that you do that. Okay. So motherhood and family, if we can talk about motherhood and family, how did motherhood influence your identity, and how is it influencing it?
It has changed me so much. I feel like I have become a little bit more unhinged, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I just feel like
don't do that.
I just say the crazy things. But it put a fire under me. And I say that all the time. Like, motherhood has put a fire under me. It's made me understand, like, I need to do the best I can for my baby. You know, how do I just be the best version of myself and be able to provide for my son the best that I can. And that's constantly what I'm thinking about. And, you know, even speaking intentionally, I've been saying, like, I need to speak more intentionally. I need to speak more intentionally because my son is watching.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I say some crazy things, and not until I had my son did I realize, like, I'm kind of speaking a little crazy right now, you know? I'm kind of being a little feisty. And I think that my son has grounded me in that sense. Like, you need to be more intentional, but also you need to be out there and do your best. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, is just like be the best I can be so that my son could see someone that he's proud of.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love what you're doing, because it's, in sociology, we call that conscious parenting. A lot of times we just like stumble upon parenting and we just are an automatic. Well, like, what you're doing is conscious parenting, which is a whole genre of parenting. And I love watching it. I love, like, on Instagram, I'm just like, I'm one of your biggest fans. I don't know if you know that. But I'm always like 3 a.m. Yeah, on the Instagram.
Scrolling.
Like, oh, cute. So yes, what values from your upbringing are you passing on to your little one? And which ones are you adding?
I'm adding. I intend on adding. You know, there's a lot about my childhood that I'm like, I wish we could have changed, but that's the past. I'm sorry, it gets me emotional.
It's okay.
That's
okay.
Crying.
That's okay.
Why are you guys looking at each other? No, but my dad was arrested in front of me when I was 11 years old. And that's something that I always said that for my son, he's not going to have to experience.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do we have tissue? Do we have tissue? I didn't think about the tissue. No tissue. I have no tissue. She has a pretty cry. She has a pretty cry.
I'm such a crybaby. I'm telling you guys, I'm a softie. But I recognize like there's so much about me that I appreciate, you know, like I appreciate the parents that my parents were, but I'm like, how do I love my son better?
Yeah.
How do I make sure that he doesn't experience things that I experienced, while also giving him those things that my parents gave me. Like we were roughnecks. My mother-in-law and my dad say it all the time. We're roughnecks. And we used to have like ATV, like I don't know what is that, tracks, ATV tracks in the backyard, and we were just like 10-year-olds just tearing this thing up, and they did anything to make sure that we just got to be kids, and we ran around like crazy, and that's something that like I do want to pass on to my son.
Thank you.
While also setting him up for success, you know, making sure that he has generational wealth. Like that's and it's funny because I feel like everybody says generational wealth nowadays, but it's like they're aware that our parents, my grandparents, my grandma came over here as a field worker, and both my grandparents had American-born kids who tried their best with what they had, and now they've had us. So I always say like, I was set up right here. My parents were probably set up down here, you know, the way that they got their start, and my son's gonna be up here. And hopefully he continues to build that and not backtrack. But trying to give him that sense of security that I think that we lacked as kids.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. So how are cultural traditions celebrated? How are cultural traditions celebrated in your family?
Oh, well, a big one right now.
Yes, please.
We're hosting Dia de los Muertos downtown series. That started when my nana passed away. We decided to start going to Mexicali to celebrate her, and it's gotten harder over the years. And so, I think about 10 years ago, my dad started doing Dia de los Muertos with Downtown Modesto, and then has continued to move that forward. And now we're doing it ourselves in series.
So when? The time?
November 1st. November 1st.
There's a video, no? Or no? Did you guys
Yeah,
have a video?
yeah, we
There's
do
a
have a video.
Can you show the video? Is it?
Is it pinned? Yeah.
Oh, here's the video. Oh, the volume? Right there?
Look at all these cool videos.
I know.
People are doing good with these videos.
Welcome to the MFH Tattoo Studio. We have some exciting news.
We're going to be hosting Dia de los Muertos Downtown Series this year.
This gives us an opportunity to bring culture, community, family, and friends straight to the heart of the series.
Come do a walkthrough with us while we show you guys what we got planned.
Come on over.
This event's going to be held on Saturday, November 1st from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m.
In this area, we're going to have vendors, lowrider cars, altars, and so much more.
Dia de los Muertos is an event to celebrate our loved ones who are here and the ones who've passed. We're going to have a time full of color, full of love, and full of community. We can't wait to show you.
All around us in this area, we're going to have food vendors and craft vendors. Everything's going to be as culturally centered as possible. Also, if you look around us, it's all small businesses that are here to support the community as well.
This is the space that we're most excited about here. This is our center stage.
Right here, we're going to have Danza Azteca, Baile Folclórico, Caballos Bailando, live music, live DJ, and and just so much more. You guys gotta come check it out.
We're gonna have an altar that's gonna be beautiful just for the community. We're so excited to have you guys. Este evento es para ustedes, City of Series. Un evento para comunidad, para cultura. Por favor, llega.
We're so excited to have you guys here. Mi gente, this is a chance for everybody to come together, show community support, and just have fun all in general. Make sure you guys come on out and just enjoy yourselves.
Los miro, mi gente, el 1 de noviembre.
Nos vemos a las 3 de la tarde hasta las 9 de la noche. Pásenle para tenerlo bien tiempo.
Gracias, comunidad.
Adiós.
Did you catch the details? Yes? Yes, very good, very good. Yes. Wonderful. Good, good, good. Okay, moving on. So creativity and professional journey. Why did you become a tattoo artist and a business owner? You kind of talked a little bit about it
Yeah,
already.
I talked a little bit about it, but my dad, when he got out of prison, decided to get into tattooing, and from there on, he seen that I was drawing in high school, and he was like, "All right, you're gonna get into this. You know, you're gonna do it." But I spent years tattooing in high school. I was tattooing anywhere I could, anybody I could. I didn't care. I was tattooing. But once I graduated, I went to college, and I was doing well there, but it wasn't for me, like I said. And yeah, I just, at that point when I was 20 years old, that's when I decided to go full force into tattooing. And what was great was that I had my dad's shop, which was oil stains on the floor and motorcycle parts, and it was just like the homeboy shop.
Yeah.
It was the homeboy
Roughneck.
shop. It was the roughneck shop. And I told him, I was like, "Dad, I want something better. Like, I love our shop. I love tattooing, but I want something better." And he was just like, "All right, take it and go then. Take it and make it yours. How can you create something that you want?"
Yeah.
And so from then on, we wiped down the walls. I think that was my first duty that I did. I was like,
Wipe
let me
down the
wipe down the
walls.
walls real quick. We painted, we changed things up a lot, made sure that no more motorcycle parts were allowed inside the shop.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, but that kind of kicked me forward, and I went to study under different people just to figure out, like, what do I want my shop to look like. I've gone to Mexico City and tattooed. I've done conventions and watched. I went to Colorado and learned so much from my boss over there, and brought it back home, where my cousin and I, because now we're co-owners of the shop, we've been implementing that, and it's helped me with my career.
Absolutely.
Like the fact that I get to scribble, I always say I get to scribble on people for a living. Like, not a lot of people get to do that, just enjoy what they do on a day-to-day.
Absolutely.
And I think that was the fire under me, was that I wanted to be able to enjoy work.
Yes.
And, I knew, like, in college, I was like, I want to be a social worker. My mom's a social worker. Belle's a social worker. I want to be a social worker. And, that quickly was like, maybe that's not for me. I can't even focus on my task here. But tattooing, I'm really good at focusing at it. So I leaned in.
She makes more money than us.
What I love about your story is, like, what's oftentimes not talked about often is that oftentimes higher education clips the wings of creative folks and has them, write this paper, take this test, take this quiz. If you're creative, that doesn't work. See, I'm not creative, so that works for me. And so, but I realized through people in my life, creative folks need creative outlets, because academia overwhelmingly is not centering creative folks, right? Thank you. Okay. What challenges did you and do you face in the industry, the tattoo industry?
I think that I'm sheltered. I'm gonna be honest. I'm
okay.
sheltered.
Yeah.
I'm around all my family.
Yeah.
So I have my dad in the shop, my cousin in the shop. I never felt the weight of being a female tattoo artist.
Okay.
I never felt the
wonderful.
weight of being the only brown woman until Colorado. But that's because I was in a shop where we were dedicated to creating space for Latinos. Like, that was
Yes.
our goal, was how do we make space for the Spanish-speaking individual?
Yep.
And so that was my shop. I didn't
Yeah.
learn from the Sailor Jerrys of the world.
Yeah.
I learned from prison work. Like,
Yeah.
that's where my dad learned. That's where we're inspired by. The Chicano work is all inspired by that.
Yep.
So I never felt out of place for that.
Yeah.
But as soon as I moved to Colorado, that's when I heard for the first time that you are the bottom of the barrel. And I was like, because I've been a big fish in a small pond my whole life. My dad always
do you
said,
mean?
better be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was eye-opening for me.
1 second.
Uh-huh.
The side chatter I can't hear. John. Thank you. Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, recognizing that like I am now a small fish in this place, and somebody called me the bottom of the barrel, and I was years in, and I was like,
What do you mean?
what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, and luckily I was able to get into the one queer Black-owned shop in Colorado, and that was fantastic. But I was the only brown woman there amongst a sea of white men. And it was something that it was the first time that I had experienced sexual harassment. Or not the first time, but in my workplace.
In your workplace.
It was, I dealt with micro racism, you know, the fact that they would be like, what's up, loca? And it's just like, you are a white man, sir. And I'd hold them to that.
Yeah.
You don't talk to me like that. You're not my tío. You know, that's not you.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, my bad. Like, they almost didn't realize what they were doing, how excited they were to see a brown person. They're just like, let me lean into who you are.
Yeah.
But that was the first time that I felt like, oh man, wait a minute, maybe I'm not the norm, you know? Because over here I'm the norm, I guess. I feel normal.
Yes. Shielded.
Yeah, I've been. I always say like any time I've made a call, anytime I've been at the shop at 3 a.m., got a weird vibe, who do I call? I call my family. They're there in 30 seconds. Like there is no ands if or buts.
Can I have their number?
Yeah, like they're right there. But in Colorado, I was like, oh wait, like I'm on my own out here. You know, there is no protection, there is no shielding anymore. Like you have to hold your own, and yeah, it taught me a lot about holding my own as a woman.
That's wonderful. I love that you were shielded, but you got a taste of the larger world. Oh yeah. Right. I mean, to be able to live consciously, and to be able to be like, oh, my experience isn't the norm. It's the norm for me in this particular space, but I also know that in the larger world, it's like, oh, they see us at the bottom of the barrel, right? Okay, how does community support or inspire your work?
Man, that's my bread and butter right there.
That is.
Like, I wouldn't be a tattoo artist if I didn't have community support. You know, that's all my job is making sure that I'm keeping good with my community so that I could continue to work another day. Because if not, then I'm going to end up at Save Mart somewhere, you know, or doing something else. I have connected to community and have been excited about community since forever now. And so my goal is constantly to just like be able to connect. When somebody comes through those doors, how do I make them feel like they belong in my space?
Absolutely.
You know, like that's my main goal. Whether you're here for your dog tattoo that passed away, I'm gonna talk about my dog now. You know? And if you're here as a queer man, I'm gonna talk to you about queer identity. Like any type of identity that comes through that door, I try to connect in any way possible. But
like come as you are.
yeah, come as you are, because I've got multiple identities as well, and I'm able to connect with you. And so I'm constantly trying to connect with identity and community. Just come as you are. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
We'll figure out how we connect. My man likes to say that I am diplomatic. Like you're gonna find a way to find like that middle ground, and that's what I do with community too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let me see. Why is visibility important for Chicanas and artists? Or is it important?
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, I seen that in the way that I seen, you know, the women around me recognizing like, oh, I see myself in you. Like that was incredibly important for me. I think that a lot of young women come to me and want to learn how to tattoo because they're like, you're the one woman that I see that's actually like that's getting down. I've been doing this for 13 years. You know, like I know I do good work.
Absolutely.
And so for them, they're just like, wait, like I want to learn off of you because I see myself in you. And I never thought of myself as a person like that. Like I didn't have strong identity growing up. So having it now and people seeing themselves in me like that, it's important. You know, I recognize that women now want to learn how to tattoo. And I remember the first person that I seen as a woman tattoo artist, I was like, You know, like the Kat Von D's of the world. I wanted to be the Kat Von D of the world because it's just like that was the first woman that I'd seen doing what I wanted to do, and she was getting down. She was like really dedicated to this being her career, and so it's motivating. I mean, Kat Von D is Chicana too, but at that time I was just like a woman, you know, a woman tattoo artist. But identity is incredibly important like that, right? Like we need that, and that's something that like in raising my son, I want to make sure he's connected to identity.
Absolutely.
So that he doesn't have to face that like, who am I?
Who am I?
Who am I all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. What advice would you give to your younger self? How old are you now, may I ask?
Oh yeah, I'm 28 years old.
28
I'm gonna be 29
now.
this
Oh my
year.
goodness. What would you tell to your younger self? Pick an age. And what would you tell her?
I think 15-year-old self, I would say to not be so afraid of being yourself. I think I was very afraid of being myself in the sense of like when I was in the art class, I was too gangster for them. I was too hood for them. I always say like they were just like this girl's a little hood. Being around the little hood kids, I was too artsy fartsy. I was doing too much for them, and so I kind of suppressed who I was. And I always say like I couldn't get into anime as a kid, even though all the artists around me were doing it. I couldn't do it because I was like, whatever y'all are doing, it looks weird. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. But as an adult, I'm like, hell yeah, like that's what I'm gonna do because it's tight. You know, like I get it. I get it now, and I just was too afraid to being too much of anything as a kid because I didn't want to become a target. Yeah. So I was very much like, let me wear my black and mind my business, and that's what I did. So I think as a 15-year-old, I'd say like, don't be afraid of who you are and don't be embarrassed. I was constantly dealing with embarrassment, and still I work on it.
Wonderful. So I have a last question, and then we'll open it up for questions if anyone has any questions. What message do you hope to leave with students?
I think leaning into your identity, but also recognizing that it's not a box, that you can step out of who you've been and who you're becoming. You don't need to feel like I am the quiet person, that's who I'm gonna be for life. Like, no, I feel like life is ever changing, and I have been everywhere. I've been 300 pounds, and I've been the little little fit person. I've been the tattoo artist. I've been the GPA, like a 0.3 GPA student, while also being on the dean's list in college. I have shifted in so many ways that I hope that you guys recognize you could shift and you can do whatever you want, whether that's college, whether that's leaning into your art, whatever that is an identity that you want to be and you want to become. Try it out. You don't like it, move on over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can we give her a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you so much. So now we're going to open it up for questions. Any questions in terms of anything that we covered, anything we didn't cover, tattoos, questions about being a tattoo artist, the shop. Anyone have questions? Right over here. Connie.
I did get a tattoo at the shop there.
Did you?
When she was much more littler than she is now. That was when Esteban was there.
Oh, Bud's nice.
And that's what we had to do, you know?
Oh, okay.
That's
Thank you,
cool.
Connie.
That was the shop that I was at, and we had to
Hell yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Others, questions, comments? Right over here.
Regarding my work, I know for a lot of Mexican artists that also work, they tend to lean more toward, old school like, cultural tattoos. How has that shaped where you have gone to and like developed into your career?
You know what? I think people love Chicano work, right? Like, I went to Mexico City just recently and they were like, man, we love Chicano work. It's shaped me in the sense of like, recognizing that I didn't learn from the Sailor Jerrys of the world. I didn't learn that classic style of thick line tattooing. I have been single needle the way that my dad did it in prison. The way that they've been doing it in prison, that's what I learned off of. And it's shifted over the years and recognizing too, like, when they're in prison, they use magazines, and they use magazines of what's right there, and what that is white women. And so now that they're out and they've taught me, I'm able to shift that and make sure that like we as Mexican women are represented in art, and just kind of representing who I am through my art, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you. Others? Mandy.
You are a very beautiful artist.
Thank you.
Very nice. I really like it.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Melvin,
it.
did you have your hand up?
I just want to give you a shout out for following your dream and your parents for supporting you.
Yeah.
That's real
Thank
big.
you. Yeah.
And for you to just stay in it and make out of it what you did for the Chicanos. You started from a motorcycle shop to in series. You feel me? Like series, you know what I mean? Like that's real big. Just to be in that area, though, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, so big shout outs and
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight you.
I mean, series, I don't know if you guys know, but that's like, KKK was there.
Yeah, that's
you
what I'm
know,
saying.
like it was there. We have photos of them in our Whitmore Park, you know, and in that same space we've held rallies, kind of opposing that. And so yeah, for Series, it is a big deal. The fact that we're able to be a shop for 13 years now in that space, you know, right now we're trying to get a sign up, and I'm like, fingers crossed, man, because it's Series. You know, you never know. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Right over here?
So, I grew up in Series, and I've passed by your shop multiple times. But my family, I wouldn't have gone in there because we all been scared, and my family's all picky. What is your Instagram so I can follow the shop?
Yeah, the Instagram's up there. But I think there's a stigma around tattooing that like you're gonna walk in there and it's gang related or whatnot, but we try to keep an inclusive space and make sure that like everybody that walks in there feels comfortable, regardless of sex, gender, relation, whatever.
Thank you for that.
My manager went in there to get a tattoo, and she right away changed the music. I was like, all right, guys, like.
Yeah, sometimes we do that. Sometimes we do that, we switch it up.
They're the code switching. Absolutely. Anyone else? Right over here?
Design tattoos as well, like you draw or like get with your clients?
Yes, I do consultations. So what I do is I sit down like this,
Yes.
and I figure out like, what do you guys want, you know? So you're like, I want to get a dragon on my arm, or a lot of these tattoos actually, like we sat down and just recognized like, what do you want? We'll look through photos and then find like, is this, let's say you want a woman's face as a Catrina. We would find like, what do you want your woman to look like on you? Who do you want her to resemble? If it is somebody that you want to resemble, what designs do you want on the face? Are you picky about that? Is there anything that you're like, I need a marigold, a butterfly, and I don't know, a chrysanthemum on me? Like understanding all these things and then looking at different art and seeing like, do I need thin lines, thick lines? Like what is it that you guys want for me to be able to make that come true? That's what I do with most of my tattoos, and we'll sit there for however long it takes to make sure that like you guys get the tattoo you want. Because that's the thing, like although I'm trying to represent my culture through tattooing, I can't do that with everybody's tattoo because it's not my tattoo. You know, it's your guys' bodies. So I try to like make sure that you guys feel like everything you get is yours, not mine.
And she does such a great job at it. So I haven't announced it yet, but I have a website, and Yesenia helped me with my logo. It's a beautiful logo. And that's exactly what we did. It was like I sat down with her, she sat down with me, and we talked about it. And you know, she asked me questions that I didn't even think about. You know, again, the part of my brain that's creative is a little dusty at sometimes, and I didn't even think about that. And then she's showing me examples, and I'm like, oh gosh, I got to think about that. I'm not sure. And then I gave her like a concept, and she made different versions of it. And then she's like, what I love about it is like there's also that like that honesty of like, well, that collects, you know, that this is what you, these are different versions of what you asked for, but I don't know, is it, you know, she knows me, so it's like, this might not be hitting. Is this hitting? I'm like, you're right, it's not. And then she's like, I think I got it. And she was exactly right. The essence of what I wanted to be able to have. And so I definitely recommend Yesenia on that. So any other questions or comments that anyone wants to What do we hear? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We've spent a lot of this this hour talking about where you've been and who you are today, what you've accomplished. Can you tell us all a little bit about where your eyes look forward as you look into the future?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it.
Something that I've been talking about for a long time, and you know this, is creating space for artists in the Central Valley. So one day, and hopefully not too long from now, getting a shop that becomes an art gallery. Something that people would come in and feel like it's a co-op. You know, they can create art, learn. Like part of it that's so clear to me is just like creating a space for cultures. So making sure that we can have space to have a cooking class, to learn how to make Mexican food healthy. You know, just like all different types of arts are going to be covered under that space is what I envision and what I would love to do for the Central Valley. Now, I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's my plan, is to have a big space. I want to be able to do art on my own right there without having to run to different places and tattoo and have like our whole shop there, and
love it.
be able to host cultural events in series. In series is what we want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you connected to Latino Community Foundation?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll connect you because they do grants.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
community grants, grassroots. Yeah. So wonderful. So before we end our time together, I do have I have a gift for you, Yesenia. It says triumph, not Trump, okay? Triumph, triumph, read it all. Triumph of our community's 4 decades of Mexican-American art. 4 decades. And so I've had this book, and it's been in my bookshelf for years now. And as I'm preparing for today, which was last night, it fell off the bookshelf, and I went to go pick it up, and I was like, "Oh, it wants a new home." I was like, because it was like 4 decades of Mexican American art, and I was like, "I see you." I was like, "Okay, so it belongs to you. It called to you." Not only that, is that one of our last texts last night of just prepping for today. You said something in your text that. That evoked a poem in me, and I'm new to writing, so I kind of, when you're new to something, I don't really feel super comfortable with the identity yet of writer, but I'm starting to write poems, and so so your poem evoked, or your text evoked a poem, and then I was like, that GIF of like Kermit typing. That was me last night. I'm like, sorry, I didn't get your grading done. I was like, I was writing a poem. And so this is for you, Yesenia. Let's see. It says, the gift of sight. Creator gave me the gift of sight to see what others don't, to see through, to see spirit, to see you. Brown girl, golden glow, cheekbones sharp like memory, carrying the ancient ones in your face. You walk like you know where you come from. Chicana, daughter of Tonantzin, do you hear the calling? Because I do. I see your beauty, deep beauty, not surface, but soul, a light that shines from within. Keep walking to the beat of the sacred drum. It knows the way. It is a blessing to witness what you are becoming, light, legacy, and prayer in motion. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So this is, we end early. We got class early. And if you have the last the word of the day is yes, ink. Yes, ink. So in case you want to follow Yes, Inc., that is also the word of the day. So you won't forget. Little sneaky here. So thank you all for coming. Can you give her another hand? Thank you all. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Check Canvas, okay? Check Canvas. You have something due tonight. I think Chicano Vets. This is for you. This is some lavender, and then it's some rosemary, and then